Okay, everybody, so we are practicing doing an underpainting of our fruit. So you, cohort B drew this in class last week, just a light drawing in pencil of your fruit. And what you're going to start doing next is, and if you haven't done that yet, just kind of sketch out your fruit first. And then you're going to use brown watercolor pencils, black and yellow, to create what's called an underpainting. So I'm putting in the shadows with my brown and pressing down harder to make the darker values. And I'm lightening up my pressure to make the medium to light values with brown watercolor pencil. For the really light areas, I'm going to use yellow, mainly yellow with maybe a tinge of brown for those highlights. And then I'm going to use black for the dark shadows on my lemon, black on top of brown. So we have this whole range of value using 3 watercolor pencils. It's hard to see the pencil drawing that's underneath, but you'll see the drawing start to take shape either way. So this is a leaf that I'm shading. I'm using black, and then I'm going to put a little bit of brown for on top for these kind of darker shadows. And then I have a stem. It's dark on the left, lighter towards the right. By using a full range of value, it makes objects look more three-dimensional. So the top of the leaf is a little bit lighter. I'm using my brown for that. And then there's a lemon in front, so it creates a shadow on top of the lemon that's in the back. So I'm using that black to kind of put in a shadow where there's an overlap. I'm going back in with my brown and just kind of transitioning the values a little bit more gradually. And then you also want to put a shadow underneath. Usually there's a shadow underneath an object, and that makes it look like it's not just floating. So I'm going in with the darkest value with a black here to make kind of this dark shadow underneath. And I'm using my brown too to kind of create those medium darks as well. Now, when you're ready, you're going to use water and your brushes to kind of blend these values together. Remember not to use a whole lot of water. Now I'm using just a tiny bit of water, just kind of wetting my brush, and I'm doing the highlights first. And then I'm going in and doing these more medium values. Remember, don't use too much water or it just kind of pools. If you get too much water on the paper by accident, you can always kind of dab it up with a paper towel or a tissue. So just a little water goes a long way. Going in and blending together that shadow that's underneath it. And then you have to wait for it to dry, and then you're going to practice the glazing part, which we'll do with acrylic paint eventually. But for this exercise, we're just going to use our watercolor pencil, and we're not going to add water again. We're just going to put a layer of color on top now that it's dried. You can use a blow dryer on low if you want. So I used green for the leaf, and then I'm going to go in and I decided to create the floor a blue color. So I'm just putting a nice even coat of blue underneath the fruit. Right over that shadow. So now the shadow just reads as this really dark blue because we have a nice thin coat of blue over it. You can decide whatever color you'd like. If it's really in the photo, the color, you can do the color that you see under the fruit or behind the fruit, or you can make it up. Now on top of the fruit, because yellow is such a light color, I'm going to press really hard so that it reads as a yellow lemon. I'm pressing down really hard so I can still see the shadows, but that the color is the most obvious at first glance. So we have this nice range of yellow, these highlights, these medium values, these shadows. And if I look at that photo again, the colored photo, I notice that there's a little bit of green reflected from the leaf. So I'm going to add that little reflection right on my lemon as well. Keep in mind, no one's going to see that real photo, but we're going to do our best to replicate it. So when you are ready, you're going to try this. If you already drew the fruit, great. You're ready to start putting your underpainting on with black, brown, and yellow. And if you didn't yet draw it, you can draw it quickly and then begin the black, brown, and yellow underpainting. Glazing will be last. All right, good luck, guys. Upload your work when you're done.